So it's almost Father's Day, and your girl Lise got the perfect thing for you. If you do not know what to get a man as a gift, guess what? My people over there at Ballsy, so you can go to ballwash.com, have some amazing gift packs that you can get for your dad or a dad or any dad or your husband or maybe somebody else's husband. I don't know. I don't judge. You can go to ballsy.com. So make sure you get the Ultimate Dad Bundle, or you can get the Father's Day Nuts and Bolts. And I am so nice that if you use M.A.P. when you check out, you will get 15% off your order. You heard me right. That is M.A.P. And you get 15% off. So I'm giving you a gift as you're giving a gift. So you're welcome. So make sure you go to ballsy.com. This is for my millennial. Baby, you got it. Baby, you got it. Baby. Oh, check me. Oh, check me. The views and opinions expressed by Millennials Anonymous podcast and their guests and contributors are of those guests and contributors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Millennials Anonymous podcast. And any content provided by our content contributors or guests or anyone else are of their own opinions and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. This is purely entertainment, folks. Now let's get it. Hey everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of Millennials Anonymous podcast. Yes, it is your girl Lise Winnie, and I am a fucking millennial. Happy Memorial Day to all of my veterans, all of the people that we've lost. I want to just give the appreciation that gives us the opportunity to be in the land of the free. Yes, we have some issues here, but I appreciate the sacrifice that all of our military personnel give so that we can do what we do. So much appreciated to them. Make sure when you are celebrating the cookout, you remember why we're celebrating Memorial Day at all. And I have military personnel and people in my family. So shout out to all my veterans, everybody that we've lost. Shout you all the way out. We definitely want to pay respect, and we do remember, and you are not forgotten, and we appreciate the sacrifice. So let's get this party started right and so very quickly, like I do each and every week, because I'm excited about what we got today. I am super excited. I'm so excited. I'm excited about what we have going today, okay? And I have two brand new guest host panelists on today for this Millennials meeting that we're going to have, this Millennials Anonymous meeting that we're going to have at the end of this podcast, or the middle. I guess it's the middle. This is just middle of this podcast. We have two dope people, and then we have a brand new featured guest. So we have another dope human on. But before I do that, I have to give thanks. I do it. I've always done this. Gotta appreciate my peoples who have already come on here and who've given me their time, because time is more precious than money. Because the only thing you can get some more money, but you cannot get your time back. So I appreciate each and every person who takes the time to come onto this panel. So I want to say thank you to Mr. Delay for coming on here. He was so funny. He's always super engaging. He's always super lovely. He is one of those. He's just a good human. He's an amazing human. And listen, I know some people will come back and say, no, well, back in the second grade, he put you on seesaw. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I just say from the perspective that I have, all the people that I have on my show last week were amazing humans. From the encounters that I've had, they've all been amazing humans. So shout out to Delay. He's got a movie coming out, so make sure you support him with That's Bad Cops. Make sure you go to his website at It's Delay so you can get his book. You can find out when the movie is going to drop. You can find out if he is in fact doing, or where he's doing his two comedy specials or he may be doing one comedy special. I was on his live and he said he might be doing two, maybe in Atlanta and Houston. So I don't know. You just gotta stay tuned, but you make sure he is absolutely a treat. Amazing. He is exactly who he says he is. He is just one of those people that no matter how high he gets up in stature, like with money wise, he still stays incredibly grounded, which is rare. Okay. It is extremely, I just want y'all to know that it is extremely rare for you to talk to somebody that stays the same no matter how many levels of success they go up the ladder. Just amazing. So shout out to Delay. And then also shout out to Rosie from the Rosie Perspective podcast. Make sure if you have not had a chance to go check her out on all major podcasting platforms. Such an amazing, another amazing human. She's just ultimately all around. All the interactions I've had with her have been so dope. Such an amazing person. And then the day one, Miss Ashley, the cannabis nurse, was here, and she was representing all kind of represent. Okay, she was representing for brunch. You know, she's a brunching alum from the Brunching podcast, which turned into the Brunching Radio Show, which came from Millennials Anonymous Reading Friday edition. So she's been here from the start. Okay. The start of something amazing. And speaking of which, on Saturday I was out supporting her because at this point we have gotten to know each other. I would consider Ashley a friend of mine, and so I wanted to go out and support her because she is an author. So she has written a book, Aces Medicine. So if you are a nurse, you're in the medical facilities or establishment or industry, make sure if you work with children, it might be a good book for you to pick up. It is a children's book. And she was out there and she was at this authors expo, which was given, I'm looking down because I'm trying to read it so that I read it right. It was presented by Urban Reads Bookstore. Urban Reads Bookstore presented this. And they had so many really great people there. So many great authors there. I was supposed to go to the media day, but the world just wasn't working. It was raining cats and dogs. My babysitter conked out on me. It just wasn't working. So I didn't end up going to that, which seemed like it was a great event. I talked to some people that was like, yeah, it was a really great event. You missed out on an absolute treat. I really wish I could have been there, but I knew I still could go the next day with Ashley. So we went to the Authors Expo and it was really good. It was really good to be able to see and speak to all of the independent authors that were there, minority authors, women authors that were out there really taking their craft and really bringing it to the forefront and flourishing so we could see their vision actually be immortalized. So it was great to be there amongst some great people, and I got to meet Freeway Ricky Ross. Not him, the original Rick Ross. Okay, the original Ricky Ross I met. And it's funny that he also just seemed like a very down to earth, nice, humble guy. Like you would think that it would be a different kind of vibe, but no, he was a very nice man. So it was very interesting. I would love to interview him. So if you hear this, I would love to interview you. I have so many questions. I would love to interview you someday, but had a really great time with that. I met so many people that were there. Great. There will be a write-up on it on millennials.us, so you can hear about it. And this is from my hometown in Baltimore. So anytime you can write up something in Baltimore that's not dealing with murder, I try to do it. You know what I mean? I try to go out my way to write it, just so that y'all know that it's more going on here. But anyway, we have some great, so shout out to everybody that was here last week. Shout you all the way out to the moon, boo-boo. But we have some great guests this week. Last week it was a ladies' night. Okay, we had D-Lay come in the beginning, and then it was ladies' night after 10 or whatever. Now, listen. We didn't flip the script, okay? We flipped it and reversed it, like Missy say. Reverse and German and we flipped it, okay? Because this week our two guest host panelists are men, are dudes in the house. Yeah, he's a dude, she's a dude. We're all dudes. Hey, yeah, good. I don't know why the Good Burger's been playing in my head recently, but it has. Don't mind me if I quote them often in this podcast, okay? It's been in my head. I just want to say, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? I don't know why it's stuck in my head. I'm going to have to watch that film now. I have to watch it. It's just stuck in my head. But we have all men. Yes. So we're going to get the male perspective. But before we get to that panel, we have a featured guest. Okay. Roman Prokopchuk is here. Roman Prokopchuk is here all the way from the Digital Savage podcast. We have the Digital Savage here himself. And he's also with the Real Talk podcast. So make sure that you stay tuned for this, because we're talking podcasting, we're talking foster care, because he's a foster parent. So I did ask some questions about being a foster parent and what that meant to him. So we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to get some podcasting information, because when I tell you he is the real deal and he's pulling in those podcasting numbers and getting recognized by these bigger organizations and institutions for the podcast that he has, and other podcasters are really gravitating towards the information that they are giving out. Trust. Okay, so you're going to want to listen to this. I know you're going to want to listen to his story, but you're also going to want to get this information. I'm just saying. And later on in the show, when you want to have a good time with me, do you want to have some fun? Okay, let's do it. We have Mr. Scoob Rose, all the way from the Unapologetically Dope podcast. Yes, the D is in the house, and that is not that D, Detroit. Okay, Detroit is in the building. All right, and then we also have B More in the building, because we have D Wings from M.A.P.S Media here with us as well, having a good old grand old time in the conversations. We talked about a couple of different things. We talked about why men just don't get sexual harassment. We talked about Kwame Brown. We talked about it all. So stay tuned for that as well. But before I can do that, we got to get to these quick top 10 trending topics of the week. All right, so I'm excited. Actually, this person, I would say they're coming for the first time, but they're actually not. Technically, they're coming back. This is actually the second time that we're speaking today. And I have the Digital Savage back here on Millennials Anonymous. He's so gracious for doing this. I appreciate him being here. How are you doing today, Roman?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back on interesting circumstances. I appreciate it.
Yes, technology doesn't like me, or maybe I don't like technology. Maybe that's probably what it is, that I don't like technology, and it knows it. So it decided it wanted to eat all of my hard drives, and that's what happened in life. But I'm speaking to a digital creator. You know everything. You are everything digital. You understand all the ins and outs of all things digital. But I want to get to know a little bit about you. So you are the host of the Digital Savage Experience. You're also the co-host of the Real Talk podcasting. And you are the founder of the Zora Digital Company. But how did you get started? Because everybody has a story. So I really want to get to know you. Who is Roman?
Yeah, so first generation immigrant. I came over with 6 other family members from Ukraine in 1990. Ukraine was still under the Soviet Union, to a 2-bedroom apartment. Went to school here. Thought I was going to go criminal justice route. Interned with the Secret Service before I graduated, and then I graduated in 2008 when the economy tanked and we had the recession. So state, local, and federal agencies stopped hiring. So I was looking for months and months, couldn't find anything. And then an opportunity presented itself. I met someone at the gym, basically said, come out to my car, which obviously could different ways. And they opened their trunk. I said, all right. And they handed me a packet about search engine optimization. They said, read this, go online, read up on it a little bit more, and you can, start doing this for our company. And 13 years later, and, different opportunities I've had to work with Fortune 500 clients, manage, 7, 8 figure portfolios, basically self-taught and kind of, created my own destiny in that sense.
I do want to talk a little bit more to you about you're also a foster parent, which is something that I think a lot of people don't always talk about. I know a lot of people who have been in the foster care system. It's an amazing opportunity, really, to help out. And it speaks to the type of person that you are. So, and it seems to be like it's a really big part of who you are. So I want to talk a little bit about how that really impacts you, like as a person.
Yeah, so usually my wife's the one that convinces me to do stuff, and I
Okay.
usually kind of fight it to begin with, and then usually kind of see the wisdom in her, I guess, actions. So, kind of our journey started. We've experienced in the last 4 years 6 miscarriages. Actually, the last one was about 6 weeks ago,
Oh my
from the
goodness.
date of this recording. And we thought it was another way to possibly start a family. We're still naturally trying doing infertility treatments, but thought it would be another route to, at the very least, help kids and give them a safe place to stay once their situations are getting figured out. So technically, we're fostered to adopt. So if a child's in our home and parental rights are terminated, we would be the first ones that the state would go to ask if we're willing to obviously adopt the child. So we went to an orientation, started the process. Process took like 10 months or so. And then we basically had 2 boys drop. We got licensed May 31st, 2018. Next day, June 1st, we had 2 boys just dropped off with, a bag and basically kind of figure it out.
Oh
We
my
had
goodness.
them, yeah, we had them for a year. We thought we were going to adopt them, but in the foster care system, cases can change overnight. They ended up being reunified, which was hard, but their mom actually did everything she needed to do. So, we try to be a support system for them and, keep in touch. And if they need anything, we're there. And since then, we've had 25 children in our home, which obviously has been a blessing. And like you said, I've learned a lot about myself and kind of to appreciate things based on, what these kids have experienced and are going through as well.
Okay. So you keep in touch with all 25 children that have gone through, or
No, it depends on the parents. It's something called like bridging the gap, and then being a resource after the fact. But some people get the kids back. They may not necessarily are getting them back and aren't necessarily still in the right state of mind. Kids
okay.
sometimes go back to the same situations they came from, and sometimes they say whatever a judge wants to hear, like yeah, we're open to whatever, and then they just disappear. In some situations, I don't blame them because things happen and they don't necessarily want to remember that 1 year or whatever of their lives or let the kids remember in terms of having them being taken away. So we're not necessarily in control with that. The biological parents or guardians that get the kids back, it's solely up to them. We can only obviously be there as a support system, but we don't control that.
What are the because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about fostering and being a foster parent. What do you think that people get wrong the most when they think about fostering a child?
There's a lot of stereotypes, like for movies and shows. Like the biggest thing, at least in my state, people think it's a for-profit endeavor. Like foster parents are paid. In the state that I'm in, New Jersey, they're not. The children get a
Oh,
stipend to, take care of kind of their basic needs. So clothing, food, activities, if you're buying season passes to Six Flags or you're going to the aquarium, that stipend is used on the child and, all the child's needs for the month. So technically, I guess if somebody had a bunch of children and didn't necessarily utilize that stipend on the children and basically took that money in a sense, that would be obviously mismanaging kind of the system. But in terms of kind of direct compensation, foster parents of New Jersey are not paid. I mean, it's a free kind of labor of love, basically.
I mean, you could probably speak to this better than I can. I would imagine that it takes a certain type of personality in order to do it, to really have that big heart, because it has to be extremely difficult to build, like you said, to build these bonds. And then at the end of it, in some cases the child ends up going home, or you don't get a chance to actually speak to that child again, although you've spent months in some cases or even years with these children.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard every time. Obviously, some children stay for a few days, some stay, the longest placement we had was 15 months. He actually left last week, which was an unfortunate way to leave. We were given a 2 hour window. Basically, the caseworker called and said, he's getting reunified in 2 hours.
Oh my
So we
goodness.
didn't necessarily have, time for extended family, friends to come and say bye. We really, just said bye. My wife rushed home from work, picked him up from daycare. We kind of ate lunch and, that was it. Packed his stuff up and, he's gone. So, I mean, it's hard because you care about every child in terms of, where they're at, are they safe, so on and so forth. But, it's beyond our control. So it's definitely one of those things that's hard. I think speaking to like counselors and therapists, there's a specific type of loss when you lose someone, but they don't pass away. They can never really be part of your lives. There's a specific grieving process, and it's hard to kind of go through. But we've done it since June of 2018, so it's going on next month 3 years. So we don't know how long we would keep doing it. Based on obviously our emotions and the kind of the holes in the system that I try to advocate about and change, but hopefully we can help a few more kids along the way.
Why do you think that you have been able to be so successful in doing this? And when you first started it, did you think like, hey, this is a great way to get some extra information, out to people, sort of like a hobby, and then you started using it almost as a tool? Is that why you've been so successful?
In terms of the podcasting or in the podcast space. So I started incorporating it, like podcasting in general and the power of audio and the audio platform to help clients. So clients utilizing podcasts to draw a business in terms of the B2B space and, attract leads as onboarding tools, things of that nature, and then directly getting opportunities to do media buys and other marketing efforts with shows like TED Talks Daily on PRX Network, and then recommending to clients utilizing interviews for PR as well as increasing the domain authority on their websites in terms of SEO. So obviously you go on a show, a lot of shows have a website, you ask them to link to a specific page or your home page, that will, influence the backlink profile, grow it, make it more robust, and then opportunities, obviously the show from the audio host and then get syndicated to the podcast players. So you have that opportunity for referral traffic, PR, and helping with offsite SEO. So I recommend it in that way. So I kind of infuse the power of podcasting within my digital marketing strategy for clients, which obviously added value. And then me personally, just learning things along the way. I didn't have any resources. I could have, I guess, took a course, read something, but I did in terms of trial and error. And obviously I'm still learning, but trying to help people along the way and just things that I've experienced. So I don't necessarily, and my co-host on Clubhouse and in general, we don't talk about stuff we don't know. So we talk about what we've actually, done, actionable results, how they can help people or what results they've had for us. And then, tapping other experts that can answer questions that we may not know. So that thereof the name Real Talk. So we don't just talk about things that, out of the air that we make up, that we read a blog post about or saw somewhere or watched a 10-minute YouTube video. We've actually done these things. We've spent money on these things. Sometimes, some campaigns, thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars and have results from them and trying to help people along the way through that.
As a business, because you mentioned something and I kind of want to go back a little bit. You are a business owner and you have clients. Would you say, because a lot of people are doing this, business owners are jumping in the podcast space. It makes sense because of what you actually do. You're a marketer. That kind of goes hand in hand. But do you think that this is a good tool or resource for a business? Say, let's say you sell, I don't know, you sell t-shirts and you decide, okay, I'm going to do a podcast to try to market my t-shirts. Is that a smart solution for businesses?
It is because it also creates kind of like reusable evergreen content in a sense. So you'll have your audio, you have your video, you can repurpose all that. You can cut it up for social. You can obviously download the transcript and put it on your website as well for additional searchability. Really talk about things around your t-shirt business. So you don't necessarily talk about t-shirts, but businesses that have been impacted from you or have clients on. There's so much you can do in terms of a content strategy that will convince potential, clients or buyers or purchasers, whatever the situation is, why they should go with you in general, why they may need your service or product, and why to choose you over your competitors. And I feel like the audio medium is a great way to do that. I mean, I've had, companies in terms of some podcasts that I produce and recommended where the potential prospect or lead, the salesperson sent them a link to the podcast, and they had a long commute, or they had like a plane ride or a train ride, and they binged like all 30 at that point episodes, and it led to the decision-making process in terms of going with that company because they really got to know who that company was. And it's a lot easier to convey that via audio and really kind of story tell and make people comfortable and really show who you are as a business and the people behind that business.
Okay. So you really should be able to use this as a marketing tool, but would you say that business owners, some of them are a little unrealistic with the time frame as far as the results, or is it that when business owners get into this, they're not doing it correctly? Because sometimes it can take a little bit of time before you actually build up like an audience for people to actually listen and like consume your content.
Yeah, I mean it's being found, so you can have great content, great audio, but if no one's finding it, what's the point? You can be putting out 30 episodes a month, but if you're not doing a good job to promote it, attracting and growing your audience, and then in turn, some of that audience may want your services or your products, or refer you via, hey, I listened to this, maybe it's a good fit for you. If you're not expanding your audience and growing it, I mean, it doesn't matter what you really do. So I guess you have to set kind of realistic expectations, understand the size of the market, understand like metrics within podcasting. So, after the first 30 days, if you got, 100 downloads, you're in good shape. People think, I didn't get 1 million downloads, it's the end of the world. Like those metrics, the lines are a lot lower than you think in terms of, the top 10, the top 50% of podcasts in terms of, how many downloads and plays you actually get in 30 days.
Yeah, I think I was shocked when I heard that the average was about 150 downloads. It's you see the big shows, you see the Joe Rogans of the world, you see the Call Me Daddies of the world that have these big numbers, and so you think that you also have to hit those same numbers in order to be successful. It's your platform. But I want to also, before we go, I want to talk about the part of podcasting that most people talk about in the beginning, and that's the sponsorship. That's the money. Should podcasts that aren't getting 10,000 downloads an episode be going after money?
I mean, you can do it in the sense, and I recommend kind of direct relationships anyway, in terms of chasing a CPM model through like a third party or other kind of intermediary. So basically, it's a lot easier to structure something when you go to somebody that's a potential sponsor, because you can break it down. Hey, I want a flat fee for the next 10 episodes, and then I'll add maybe the logo to the cover art of the show and the logo to the actual episodes. And if you have a website, I'll create 2-3 other unique blog posts that feature your company or things about you, so you can really kind of batch what value you have as a podcast. So your social media channels, your actual show in terms of the audio, things you may offer in terms of maybe throw in some paid social to push that episode, if it's like something where you have the person from that company come on as well as part of this sponsorship package. So having a direct relationship with the sponsor and really crafting a deal yourself, you don't necessarily need a huge audience. You just need to add value. So I recommend, if you want to monetize that way, it's a better route than going through a third party and going through the CPM model, which you're probably going to get no more than $20 to $25 per, 1,000 listens. So
Okay, so make sure that you go follow him. He's absolutely an amazing human. He's doing so much in the tech space, in the marketing space, the digital space. He's a great podcaster. He's helping other podcasters, and he's also an advocate for the foster care system and making it better for the children and people that actually have to go through that system. So I appreciate you being here again, because this is not the first time. So I appreciate you coming back. I enjoy speaking to you and all of the knowledge that you share. These top 10 trending topics of the week. The Senate was like, no, I don't even think we need to hold people accountable. And that is exactly what Senate Republicans did. So basically what happened is Senate Republicans, they'd had a filibuster on the January 6th inquiry bill blocking an investigation of actually holding people accountable. So this would have been an independent organization that was coming in to investigate the deadly Capitol attacks, which a lot of Republicans feared that it would damage them politically, because a lot of their constituents were there or knew someone that was there, or maybe had a cousin that was there, or maybe a cat. They had somebody that was there. And so they didn't want to have that come back on them potentially. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens with that. And then some in the Capitol riots are now going to be using a very interesting strategic strategy of how to get out of jail. Okay, so they're going to get that get out of jail. They're going to try the get out of jail free card from Monopoly by saying they were misled by election falsehoods. So we'll see what happens with that. Good luck with that strategy. I don't know how it's going to really work out. A former FBI agent stole $800,000 from a woman by staging phone calls. Yes, he staged phone calls and with a fake judge, and he convinced her that she was on secret probation. Yes. She didn't have a public probation. It was secret probation. So she couldn't tell nobody that she was on probation, but she was on probation and she had to pay him. And I'm like, who got 800? Where, sir? Like, where do you find somebody that got $800,000 to give? Like, I just don't know. And Jay-Z talks writing skills when he was on LeBron James' show, The Shop, and he referenced the tracks that he did for Dr. Dre. So he did Still DRE, and here's what he said on the show. I'm doing Dre and Snoop's vocals. The reference tracks, it sounds like them. And he said that Foxy Brown was glad that no one can find that version of him doing Still DRE. So shout out to Jay-Z. Very rarely talks about him actually writing. So this is interesting to see this different side of Jay-Z. So shout out to him, because that was a bomb ass song. And James Caan, is he a Future fan? Maybe so, because he jumped in to the debate about the 2010 rappers. Retweeted Rap Caviar's post that has been circling the interwebs about who is like the top, who should be on the rap Mount Rushmore of the 2000s. And so you have like J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. And so a lot of people are like throwing Future in the mix. And basically he wrote on Twitter, Future ? In tweet. And J. Cole is, speaking of which, J. Cole is playing basketball. He's playing pro basketball, which I did not know this. I'm like, J. Cole, just sit down. Like, you doing a lot. You taking a lot of jobs and dreams. Like, just leave some dreams for other people. Just leave some dreams for other people and just walk away. He actually played 3 preliminary games in the Basketball African League, and he suited up for the Rwandan Patriots. And he said he had to depart from Rwanda because he had to return home due to some family obligations, but he did say that he needed to get better at playing basketball. So I don't know if he got there. He thought, you know how sometimes you talk yourself into doing stuff like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. And then you start playing and you like, I don't know what I was thinking at the time when I thought that I could play professional basketball, when in fact I am not a professional basketball player. I am a rapper, And this is just not what I be doing, because I think J. Cole is like 30 and he was like, maybe this is not the best age to start playing professional basketball. Probably not. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was, because he's at the same age as me when Ben Gay starts to be your friend. Okay, it does. And Stephen A. Smith finally claps back at Kwame Brown on ESPN. So I guess I don't know if ESPN has had enough that they allowed Stephen A. Smith to spend about 15 minutes clapping back at Kwame Brown. Basically, he said that, listen, sir, no one is talking down on you personally. We're just saying that you weren't a very good basketball player. And he proceeded to show highlight reels of him not being a very good basketball player. So I don't know at this point if Kwame Brown will clap back. I'm sure he will, because I think he has a podcast now, so he's making money, I suppose. I don't know. And Nick Cannon is going to be a father again. Yes, again, he will be a daddy, and this is twice in the same year. So he's going to be having more children. She's pregnant with twins, so he's going to be having twins with her. He must have twins run in the family, or he likes women who have twins that run in the family, because this is his second set of twins. So, congratulations to them. But there's yet another woman who has come forward who said that she, in fact, is pregnant by Nick Cannon. So this will be his third child this year.
Guess what?
Yep. And the vaccine, COVID has turned into Powerball, because there's a vaccine lottery in a lot of states. Even in my state of Maryland, they have started lottery tickets, scholarships, boats, skis, ice skates, ice cream, hamburgers. Like, they're doing whatever they can to get people to get this vaccine. And I'm like, okay, if people thought this vaccine was not real and they was trying to get people before then, y'all didn't think this wouldn't do it? Turning it into a game, you didn't think that would fuck it up? Like, I'm like, whose idea was this? Whose idea was this? Like, I'm just not understanding why y'all had to do this at all. But whatever, okay. But this has been your top 10 trending topics of the week. Let's get into this guest panel right now. But we got some great guests coming in here today. Yes, last week it was ladies' night. We don't have any ladies here today, but we're gonna still have a good ass time. It's a bro day, okay? It's a bro day today. So we have the one and only Scoob Rose from the Unapologetically Dope podcast, if I can speak today, which airs each and every week on social media, on Instagram, on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And we have Mr. D Wings with us. He is straight from M.A.P.S Media. He does everything that is public relations behind the scenes, and he's such a big help to us. So we appreciate you both for being here. Did I fuck that up? Did I fuck it up, Scoob? I know I did.
No, not at all. You did your thing.
Okay, I was trying. Well, I appreciate you guys being here today. We're going to get some male perspective. So, ladies, I'm not the best lady to probably represent for the ladies, since the way I think is a slightly different. But I'm going to try my best to bring in the ladies' perspectives on each and every one of these topics. Should women propose to men? There's this new thing that's out. Women are now proposing to men. What? And they're getting down on bended knee. I've seen it. They're doing these big, elaborate proposals. Are you okay with a woman proposing to you, Scoop?
Absolutely not.
Why?
So I'm a traditionalist. Like, it's some things that I hold true to. I mean, let me back up. Let me be clear. Okay. Please don't do it in public if you choose to do it, future wife. Okay. Right. I would never I would say yes if she did it in public, strictly to not embarrass her. But when we get in the car, we gonna talk. Like, that's right. No, that's not cool. That's not cool. But again, like I said, I'm a traditionalist, so I hold some things like that. That's
y'all don't want to feel special. You don't want to feel special, because
I will feel special when you tell me yes. Like that's how you make me feel special. Like,
I said just feel like take like the almost make you feel like the woman. Like I don't want to feel like that. Like I want to be the man. You know what I mean? Like get on my knee. You're like she kind of almost like taking your shine from you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Like taking shine. And I mean, why do you have to have traditional gender roles? Like, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think if it's the same thing to me as a woman that, because you know, a lot of women, not all, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of women force or say, hey, why aren't you gonna marry me? When you gonna marry me? I want to get married. Like, it's the same thing. She's just taking the initiative instead of continuously asking you and you don't go get the ring. She's just doing it for you. What's wrong with that?
Because that's still our thing. I don't know. Like I don't have any other explanation for it other than that's my thing, right? Like I don't go to the nail shop and be like, yo, move her over, get my cuticle, son. Like I don't. Right. I'm just taking it like that. Like that's just a man thing to me. Like I don't have no other way to put it.
But it saves you money because I think if the woman proposes, you shouldn't have to buy an engagement ring. She has to buy the engagement ring. So weigh it.
And then she will still want a ring.
Right. You walking around with ice. You icy. And because it's equality. If women want equality to be able to do the same things, that's how it works. If she's the one that's going to propose, she is the one that will buy the ring.
When I link with the fellas, I'm getting trashed. Like, hey, hand me my cup. Bro, you wearing a ring? Like, bruh, you wearing like, come on. Nah, I'm sorry.
But it could be a dope ass icy ring. Like you don't know, because women, we be walking around with some serious rings on our fingers. Men be spending.
Right. That's our moment. Yes, that's our moment to floss on other dudes and be like, ha, you ain't get her, she mine.
Yeah. Like, we want to do that too. We want to floss on other chicks. Like, look, this my dude. Look what I got him. He got this brand new Gucci ring on.
You keep raising the level of ring. You just keep raising the level of ring. It's not gonna change it.
Yeah, because men usually y'all get a copper 10 bottle cap. Usually, that's what y'all get. Like y'all men, I do feel bad for y'all. Y'all do.
I'm not
y'all
a
just
ring person. I'm gonna get a tattoo when I get married. Just let me get a little.
Oh, you one of them dudes that's gonna take the ring off?
I'm not gonna lie, I would, because I don't like jewelry for real. And yeah, I would take it off at home and forget. Yeah, I would. I'm not gonna lie.
You gonna take it off if you go to a bar? You seem like you be like slow.
But most people don't wear rings like that.
I don't know. The way you sound like you don't like rings.
Nah, if you innocently, I would take it off. I wouldn't like walk into a club and be like, all right. Like I'm not gonna do that.
You ain't never gonna find this.
I mean, you might be good. Some girl like wings.
Oh, that is true. It does attract
that might
women.
Be worse. Yeah, they go, okay, he committed. Okay.
You ain't gonna tell me neither.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Keep quiet.
That is true. But
and that's how women from down the street got 19 kids.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids. That's 19 children. That's way too many. But I think women should. I know I've heard way too many men say that women shouldn't propose. My thing is this: women, if you're gonna propose, just be prepared to be rejected. Like if you're gonna propose, you have to take the rejection. Same thing with women approaching men. If you're gonna approach a dude, you have to be prepared to get rejected.
No, I like that.
Oh, for one to approach you, don't mind that.
No, not at all. Show some initiative, baby. Come get my number.
But that's like not her taking your shine. Isn't that still sort of like that traditional role?
No, because see, in my mind, this is how I view it, right? So, future wife, listen up. The proposal, that's me. I'm gonna go all out for you. The wedding, we do whatever you want. The only thing I say is just meet me there and don't be late and have me looking like you about to stand me up. That's all I'm saying.
But you don't mind. But you don't mind a woman approaching you.
No, because you know what? Like, I don't know. It's difficult to approach anybody nowadays, like in any kind of way, even on a hey, how you doing? Like, or you dropped your wallet. Everybody's so defensive and you know, and it's really hard for men. We got it even harder trying to talk to women because we thirsty. Like, oh, I gotta. But no, you can just politely say, no thank you, or I'm not interested instead of all the extra stuff. I seen a dude in Kroger a couple months ago, no lie, and I meant to put this on my show. He asked this woman out in line and she got on live. I don't know what platform, but she got on live and pointed dude out. Yeah, she embarrassed him, man. And I told her walking out, like, if he turn around and bust you upside your head, I'm gonna laugh before I call the police.
But you will call them, so that's good. I think that women should be able to propose and approach men. Would you be okay with that, Dustin? A woman approaching? You think women should approach men more? Because isn't that considered aggressive, masculine? That's not masculine to either one of you?
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with them coming at me like that. I mean, that might actually feel a little. Even if I don't want to talk to you, I probably still feel a little good.
Yeah, that's a like stroke of the ego. Like, okay, she felt enough to come in my inbox. Like, she ain't gonna wait on me.
Yeah.
I'm so confused though, because y'all say that the woman taking your shine, that is emasculates the man, but a woman can approach a man and say, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and that's not taking that masculine side. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's like being like a rock star or something, you know what I mean? Like, you famous and you got a woman trying to hit at you, you know what I mean? Like the same thing. Almost,
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
That doesn't make sense.
I see what you're saying. I get the connection between it, but it's just a man thing. We can't really explain it no other way. Like, yes, slide in my DMs. No, don't get down on bended knees.
So say that part for the man proposing, if you are in a traditional relationship, a heterosexual relationship, and if you want to approach the dude, you can approach him. You can be as aggressive as you want, because they don't take sexual.
Wait, don't just walk up and grab my balls like, give me your number. Don't do that.
Don't sexually harass him or assault him, but you can be aggressive in the pursuit. No grabbing.
Don't use this word aggressive either, because I don't want nobody walking up like, hey, I want your number. Baby D walk up, put the pistol on me. Get the number, and I want your Instagram. But wouldn't
that make you feel good? That means she really wants you.
That means she ain't got it all up there. Like, not aggressive, just, walk up, be a little smooth.
Might be a little. Hey.
I like you. Let me touch them dreads. How you doing? Like,
like, hey, baby boy, baby boy in a red shirt, baby boy in a red shirt.
Me? What's good? What's good?
You feel me? Because men be getting a little too mad though. I get that you shouldn't be like a woman calling men out. Like, don't embarrass nobody. But at the same time, men they'll call you a B. They'll be like, bitch, you wasn't even cute anyway. And I was like, but why was you trying to talk to me then? Like, I mean, men are weird. I'm just gonna
that's not a man. That's a little boy that don't know how to handle rejection. Because you reject me, I'm gonna just say, okay, you still fine though. Go ahead, you still fine. And that's just what it is.
See, look, ladies, you can't propose to him because he said he'll smack the ring out your hand. But he will allow you to approach him.
Not in public. In public, I'm gonna be like, oh, baby, yeah.
But you would take the ring.
I would in public. I would not want to embarrass her. But if she did it in private, it's gonna be a conversation. Like, baby, I wanted this moment. I'm gonna tell her that I really wanted this moment for me to do that, and I would probably accept the proposal. You're right, I would. I ain't even gonna hold you up. I would accept it, but I'm not wearing no ring. I ain't wearing no ring.
You don't want to show your mans and them like, look, yo, she got me this ring. It got a matching necklace.
Nope. Well, what you do? Yeah, because then she'll do like in front of your family or your homeboys and stuff. You gonna be the butt of jokes for a couple years. You know what I mean?
Forever. They gonna be
forever.
You know she proposed to him, right? You know she put a ring on that, right? And I'm telling you, my family petty. My family petty, so it's gonna be a line of dudes at the reception talking about some. She put a ring on it. She put a ring on it. I can't. I ain't going out like that.
Right.
That's okay, Beyonce. That was a cute song. You could do it. You could do a whole number and everything. Like you and your groomsmen.
Wow, we going there? Are we doing this?
Yes.
Right now? No, we're not.
Yes, that would be so cute. Listen, man, out there, if y'all got proposed to, please do that and put that on TikTok.
Brothers, please don't do that. Please don't do that. I will get on your TikTok and I'm gonna be all in your comment. I'm gonna Kwame Brown your ass if you do that.
Is genius. That is genius. Scoob, you really unlocked something. That is.
I'm about to be trending. I didn't mess up the man culture.
that is genius. So we're going to look at this from the perspectives of this Joe Budden, Olivia Dope situation about sexual harassment, because it's been coming up quite often. We see this all the time in the celebrity world, but also in the workplace. Like I said, I don't know a woman that hasn't dealt with a similar situation or a situation similar to this, or it's just a bad situation in general. So I want to talk to my guys today to see why men don't get it, because I have had so many conversations and I've heard especially a lot of young guys that just don't get what sexual harassment is. They don't get why this situation is bad. They don't see what he did wrong. And we really need to start having these conversations out loud. So I wanted to look at it from the perspective of men and having to deal with their own sexual harassment. And if that, maybe that's where the disconnect comes in, because men oftentimes get sexually harassed, but there is a little bit of a double standard between when women do it and when men do it. So I don't know, because men's perception, I'm not going to speak for every man, but a lot of men's perception of this is different. And unfortunately, women get sexually assaulted and sexually harassed at far higher rates than men ever could think of. I don't even know if they realize how frequently it happens. That this shit is just not okay. It's unacceptable. So we really need to take a look at the different views and viewpoints, and we're going to do it through, of course, this situation, but it happens so far and frequently outside of the situation. But Joe Budden got in trouble for sexual harassment at work with one of his hosts of his show, Olivia Dope. She's no longer on the network, but she was. And this brought up a great conversation, because it started to spark what really is sexual harassment and what isn't. And for some reason, why don't men understand what sexual harassment means or what sexual harassment is? Because he started talking about him wanting to have sex with her at work, and he thought that this would somehow loosen her. So of course, this is a podcast setting, but it still works. She's getting paid. This is her job. And he is the boss of the network. He owns the network. His name is on the network. And he came to one of the shows because the show was new and he wanted to, I guess, increase the ratings. So he was sitting down, they were talking about relationships, and he decided to say to all three of the hosts why he appreciated each one of them. He said, I like, this one for this one for that. And I like Olivia because she's attractive and people watch her because they're going to want to fuck her. And he said this multiple times. Then
Are you serious?
Yes. And then he proceeded to ask the other two hosts, can he hug her, instead of asking her, can he hug her? And then he started grinding himself on her as he hugged her. So it was a very awkward conversation. And she did say that she was uncomfortable after it happened.
At 14 minutes, 34 seconds. There's an edit in the recording because Joe says him and I should speak more because, quote, he's been wanting to fuck me since we've met. Everyone in the studio, including production staff, laughed uncomfortably while one of my co-hosts confirmed that to be true. That scene was cut out. And at 19 minutes and 26 seconds, another edit happens because Joe makes another suggestion to having sex with me. That scene is edited out, and what is shown in right after that is me closing my eyes, saying no, and then he says, never mind. At 24 minutes and 54 seconds, Joe makes a comment that I am throwing my singleness in his face, and he thought we were going to be a network power couple. Once again, I'm trying to laugh all of this off. As it's transpiring, I reply by saying, sorry, Joe, we're not. At 25 minutes and 42 seconds, I make a comment about relationships in general within the conversation. Joe retorts that my shirt that I was wearing isn't buttoned like I'm single, like I'm in a hostile work environment by letting my co-host know that I am carrying the group because they don't dress sexy enough.
So is this just him flirting, Dustin? Is this something that you would think that men, let me not say people, men just don't get it? Are they just not getting it?
I mean, he could have just been joking, trying to break the ice.
But you don't make somebody feel comfortable by making them feel uncomfortable. Like that just is weird to me. Comfort is, let me get you some water.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's comfort.
But I also think there's a double standard. I think if this was reversed, I think women tend to get away with doing this type of behavior to men without it being called. And I think a lot of the time it's because men don't look at it. Y'all just be like, oh, she like me, as opposed to this, I'm uncomfortable. How many times have you ever had a woman do that at work?
Yes. And it was actually during a job interview for a major retailer. I was interviewing for a loss prevention position, and she literally started to unbutton her blouse as we were sitting there and got it right about to the middle of her bra and just said, "Ooh, it's hot in here," and readjusted herself. And I was, at that point, I'm like, I got the job, so you know.
You just said fuck it at that
obvious. Point. Yeah, I mean, but it was obvious, like, yo, she trying to get the school snacks, but okay.
Yeah, because see, if that was a woman, a man said, because if that were me and I was sitting there and sitting in an interview, I'm not going to say I think I got the job. I'm going to be like, this dude is tripping. Like, I am going to be like, no, you going to button your shirt so I can see your chest hair, sir? No, I don't want, no, sir. Have you been sexually harassed by a woman or had a woman hit on you that you didn't ask for at work, Dustin?
No, not really. I mean, no, not.
You've never had a woman say something to you where you was like, that was questionable as hell, or you just was like, oh, she hitting on me.
I mean, I had some, to say something like your eyes. I mean, I had one time I was doing going to somebody's house for a job, and they did answer. I called them because I was at the wrong house, and they answered the door with their robe on. And then they just throw stuff like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't got no clothes underneath this." And you're like, "Huh?" You know what I mean? Like who say that? You know what I mean? Like
she didn't know that when she came to the door. Like you just forgot you was having.
No, like that. Like I just got out the shower, and then they just sit there and want to talk to you, and like you like, damn, she naked right now, and then it's like.
And that's what I mean. Like, I think women are better at figuring that it is, I'm uncomfortable. Because if a dude does that to me, that is creep patrol. I don't want to be here no more. This is weird. And this is why I don't know if maybe that's the disconnect, because men see it as, oh, you're sexually attracted to me. That's a good thing. Whereas women are seeing this as, this shit is weird. I don't want you, because isn't it only sexual harassment if the person don't like it? Technically.
I can agree to that. Yeah, when the person feels harassed, right? Like they're uncomfortable, it's not wanted. But I'm gonna be honest, my situation, I didn't want that. She was not attractive, but it was just like, yeah. I don't. Maybe that's just a man thing, because it was just like she want the snack. What can I say?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it right there. Maybe it's if it's an attractive woman or an attractive man, you're more likely to be like, it's okay, because this is. I don't know who's attractive these days. Some woman, Rihanna. Let's say Rihanna. So if Rihanna is hitting on you on work, and that's Rihanna in an interview, are you still saying, I don't know about this? Or you say, woo, it's about to go down.
I'm locking the door and dropping my pants. Are you kidding me? I'm clearing off the desk before she even said, hey, how you doing?
See, and like, I know a lot of men, and that was the weird part, that when a lot of men saw that situation happen with Olivia Dope, they couldn't understand what the problem was. And I was like, okay, I don't get the disconnect. You've got to know that if somebody is not asking you, like, I don't like unsolicited. That's like men with dick pics. Don't send unsolicited dick pics. A woman has never gotten one and said, oh, this really is what I needed today. Like that. I don't get it. Like, men can get them all day long. Like, maybe not dick pics unless that's what you're into, but they can get titties in their inbox and ass, and it's just like, oh, this is amazing. It's Christmas.
They do that? I ain't never got that randomly.
I don't know. Y'all tell me.
I think that's just some perverted. I've never just sent the snack out randomly, like, hey, you hungry? You want something? No, who does that?
Oh no, dick pics? Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'll send them to like a woman I'm talking to, but not just like randomly, like, here you go. No,
random. Like, I think they think that it's gonna make you go, yes, this is what I was looking for. But that's the weird part, because if you've seen a dick, you know that they don't necessarily, they need to be attached to something. Like, it's just weird when you just get that. Like, it's like, I'm gonna need you to attach that to your checking and your savings or something, because this is just a weird float.
Send it with a bank receipt, like, here you go.
Like, you need it attached to a person. Like, just sending a random.
So you said you would be more comfortable if it was a full body butt naked picture with the wang out?
I mean, no, it's still sexual harassment, but it's better than sending just that.
Okay, got you. I got you.
Because I'm like, I don't even know you, sir. Why? Like, we've never had a conversation. I don't know if it's working, because men are still doing it. I'm like, why are you still doing this? I don't get it. Like, I never understood that. But if you are a man and you are listening to this, I need you to know that I get it. Y'all keep crying and whining, like, I don't know what to do now. I can't invite a woman out no more. I can't ask a woman on a date at work, because that's also considered sexual harassment. Because
it is.
I feel like now we've gotten to a place where just ask. And I know some people say, well, that takes away from the moment. If the person does like you, it's not as spontaneous. But I'm like, wouldn't you rather be safe than sorry? Just ask, like, hey, you know, I kind of like you. You like me? Check yes, check no. Like, let's go back to that. Send some notes. Yeah, just send her a note. Well, I don't know, maybe not a note, because then she could send it to the HR. But just ask her. Just ask a woman, do you want to date me? And you don't have to be creepy about it. You can just say, hey, do you want to date me? Or, well, maybe not that forward. Like, hey, I like you. Like, hey, it's hard. Well, you're right. So, God damn it, it's hard.
Yeah. I think I can provide a little bit of insight. I have, like, asked women out on the job, but I do it off the clock. Like, I'll catch her in the parking lot or walking out of the door, like, hey, you got a second, so we can talk. Don't do it on the clock.
Mid-scan, you a cashier, mid-scan. Hey, by the way, you think...
what you doing before you finish? Like, you want to go out after? Hold on, 1 second. This man, you want to go out for lunch? Okay, you can ring her up now. Like, who does that?
Yeah, and I think every person has had a weird experience at work, especially like this, because we're with the people all the time. So those are the people that you're going to date. Those are the people you're going to talk to, because you see them more than you see your family. But I think as women, I've never met a woman that hasn't had a weird situation at work or something that was said at work. Because literally, I had this situation happen to me, and I was working in higher education at the time. It was for profit university, though. So that should tell you all you need to know. But like, I'm there. And so the guy's like, oh, well, that skirt looks sexy and you need to use what you got to get what you want. And I was like, excuse me? Like, no, we're not doing that. Like, that's not okay. Like, nowhere. And then it's like, well, the students will listen to you. He's talking to an older gentleman, like, the students will listen to you because they're going to look at you as a father figure. And like, oh yeah, at least they'll listen to you because you cute. Like, what? Say what? Say what now?
Wow.
Like, this is the type of stuff that women have to deal with. So this is why I'm saying,
you don't have a whole brain up here. It's just you.
I don't bring anything. I don't bring anything to the table. But this is why I'm telling men, when y'all crying, this is what we got to deal with on this side. Okay, when you born with titties, you just, as soon as you get them, men become weird. Like this, that's just what you get from the time you're about 12 or 13 years old until you die. You got to deal with weirdness. But unfortunately, speaking of some weirdness, are you two familiar with Kwame Brown?
Yeah, I just caught up to that weak situation.
Yeah, so that was it. It's getting to the point where it's getting a little weird. Like he's doing like 2-3 lives a day going after people. Like, I mean, I get what he's saying because it's not like what he's saying besides some of the misogyny. Besides the misogyny, I get what he's saying. What he's saying is not necessarily bad. So if you're not familiar with the situation, it all started because it was brought back up. So he got drafted in, I think, 2001. Was it 2001, Dustin, that he got drafted?
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah, I think it was 01.
Yeah, or 2000 or 2002. One of them.
Yeah, I think it might have been 02, something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that, long time ago. And Michael Jordan drafted him. He came straight out of high school, and he was a bust. You know, he was an 18-year-old kid, never, played in college ball. So, of course, the expectations for him were high, and it just didn't pan out. So that's been the running joke for a long time on, All the Smoke podcasts with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. They were talking to Jenny Buss, and they brought this back up again. And it completely started a rampage from him, but not until Charlamagne got into it. And he called out his family for being violent, and he called him violent, which started this downhill spiral. So now he has brought up with Charlamagne. Charlamagne the God, if you're not familiar, has since apologized. And he did apologize for Kwame Brown for bringing in his family into the situation because he said it was uncalled for. He shouldn't have ever done that. But now we are re-looking at Charlamagne and the situation that Charlamagne has down in South Carolina with potentially having sex with an underage girl. She was 15 years old at the time. Alleged. We're all going to say, well, I don't know. Is it alleged? Because in their court documents.
Didn't he admit to doing it?
He did plead guilty. So he pled guilty to a lesser charge, though. I think it was delinquency of a minor, which is a misdemeanor. So I guess it's not necessarily alleged, but the sexual contact with the minor is alleged. So that hasn't been proven. But Kwame Brown decided to go and he called him out. He's called out Steven Jackson for being whatever he is. He's called out Stephen A. Smith for whatever he is, and he's just going Jamel Hill. He completely just threw poor Jamel Hill in there. Is he wrong for getting this angry and kind of clapping back at people? Should he have just kind of like let it slide? Or if somebody been talking about you for 20 years, do you finally say, fuck that?
So, didn't all this start because of a comment that Charlamagne made about Matt Barnes?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Kwame came after Charlamagne because of Matt Barnes. So, I really think Kwame just trying to make himself relevant. You ain't had nothing better to do but to defend a grown man?
Well, no, Charlamagne did talk directly about Kwame. Well, Matt Barnes and Charlamagne the God said something directly about Kwame Brown. Because first, Matt Barnes said something on the podcast. He pretty much said that, there was a trade that was made, but it didn't include two people. It actually was only one. That's only a one-man trade because he was saying that Kwame Brown was that much of a bust.
But when he was laughing at him, too, when he said it. Like,
even though it was 13 years, he did 13 years in the league. That's not really a bust. 13 years is a long time. So that ticked him off. And so he was going back and forth with Matt Barnes. And then Charlamagne inserted himself because he started talking about the comments that Kwame Brown was making about Matt Barnes. And then that's when he said, don't mess with Kwame Brown because his father's a killer and his brother's a killer and his sister's a killer and he's violent, and it just spiraled downhill from there. So do you think he should have left it alone? Because in some ways, I'm like, if you're unbothered, because one of the things he keeps saying is that I'm unbothered. But yet you're still talking about it. So I'm like, are you unbothered?
I'm not mad. No, I'm not mad. Come on.
Would you have called him
honestly, out? No, I would not. Because you mean like if I was Charlamagne, would I have?
Both. So was Charlamagne wrong? Should just Should have shut the fuck up.
We know Charlemagne is gonna go for the ratings, right? Like, you gotta know when you walk into a fight with Charlemagne, he got snipers pointed at your head because he don't fight fair. So you gotta know walking into a comment battle with this dude that he gonna go for the jugular, especially if he got something to throw at you. But at the same time, when you go messing with somebody's family, you are like, now you crossing into another line. You could have kept the comments about his basketball career. You could have kept the comments about him personally, but you went too far, Charlemagne. Once again, you done wrote a check that your ass probably can't cash. So I mean, that's where we at with that.
But he brought up, man, a whole mold of his ass. Like, Charlemagne has no, he has no line. I mean, speaking of sexual harassment, that was some sexual harassment for your ass, literally. I don't know, like, who does that? I don't know. But what do you think, Dustin? Do you think he should have clapped back at him or just left it be?
I mean, yeah, I think he should. Like
you think Kwame should have?
Yeah. I don't think he did nothing wrong, really. Like, he's abundant of jokes all the time. I mean, so much you can hold in. Everybody clowning you and everything.
That's true.
Especially, I mean, he was a number one pick. Like, it's not that many people be number one picks. Especially the first high school one, too. Straight out high school to be number one. I mean, this is before Kobe, you know, Kevin Durant and all them. First one. I mean, he just didn't live up to the hype.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. And he had to play with Jordan. Like, man, you gotta play with Jordan when you're 18 years old. When Jordan Poe come back, like, that's a lot to deal with. He couldn't even go to the clubs with them. He was too young after the game. You know what I mean?
That's true, but at the same time, I'm like, if you truly are unbothered and you want them to know you are unbothered, shouldn't you be unbothered and just say fuck it? Like, I don't understand the constant, like, even if you did say, hey, Charlemagne, that was fucked up, I don't know why you bringing my family into this. I never brought your family into this, and I grew up in the same neighborhood that you grew up in. You know, I know the deal. Like, I know the real deal. These people don't know the deal, but I know the deal. And just kind of left it at that. I think that would have probably sufficed, but he just kept going. And I think now that he got over 250,000 followers on YouTube, he making money now. And I think he realized, he went, oh, I can monetize my anger. And now he goes live like 5 times a day.
But it's crazy because C.Nate Smith actually had a show. I think he got a show coming on today. He was saying he going to talk about Kwame Brown. Well, he got some stuff to say about it. I didn't watch it. So, I mean, like, they is kind of like going back and forth a little bit, or like poking him.
But in some ways, you can talk about, I don't like Stephen A. Smith. He really irritates me in the worst way ever. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, he just, it's just something about him. I can't put my finger on it, but it's something about him. But like I said, it's not that I disagree with what Kwame is saying, except for the misogyny. I'm like, okay, that's a little bit much. Like, you saying, like, to Jamel Hill, you don't talk when men were talking. I'm like, well, okay, I was with you till you. I was like, I was there, and then you lost me. But I don't like him at all. Since we're talking about like basketball, do you think, Dustin? I know you got your Lakers. Are they winning? Are they winning?
Oh yeah, they'll win the West.
They're gonna win the West, but not everything. Okay, that's good. Good to
they're gonna win the West. I don't know. Brooklyn look. I don't know. I like Brooklyn too. They look pretty good this year.
Okay, all right. It is what it is. But I think that he should have. I think at this point with Kwame Brown, I think he should have kind of let it be. Let it be.
At this point, either come on the Breakfast Club or get in the ring. Like, pick one, or let it go.
I don't think he wouldn't come. I think he would come on the Breakfast Club. As a matter of fact, I think he said he would. If they invited him, I think he would. And he's getting a podcast. He's jumping into the podcast game. I think it's going to be called My Mama's Cooking Podcast. So I'm not sure what he's going to talk about, since most of his stuff is just like him getting mad at people. So I don't know if it's going to be like a roast, maybe.
This
People
man
like
about to get beat up. This is what that's about to be.
he's pretty dude. I don't know if they can take him. I definitely know Charlemagne about 5 feet tall. So
No, Charlamagne gonna shoot him. He gonna shoot him. He gonna meet him in the parking lot at night with a bat.
yeah, because I was like, Charlemagne ain't taking. Because what Kwame about 7 feet tall?
Like
They can jump him. He gonna get jumped. They gonna take his knees and tear him down from there.
Yeah, because Matt Barnes, I don't know. Matt Barnes might be with the smoke. So I don't know.
I definitely think Matt Barnes is with the smoke. He a little hood.
he a little hood, but we'll see what happens with that. But another thing that's going on, I don't know. Some people love Joe, some people don't love Joe Biden. So far, I've heard some people say he's the worst president. I've seen some people say he's the best. But one of the things that has happened and I'm like, God damn, we just got rid of Trump. Can we
Cheeto? We had a Cheeto as the president for 4 years. This man had a Diet Coke button on his head. That was a priority.
Was that real?
That was real. Google it. They got a picture of him pushing it. It was under a box, like something you would see from a 1980s movie, and he would push it, and they would have a Diet Coke on him.
You are lying to me.
No lie. But we had a Cheeto. We had a Cheeto as our president, and they really complaining about Uncle Joe. Man, leave Joe Biden alone.
That's what I'm saying. Leave him alone. And speaking of one of the things that he did do, he got us some more unemployment benefits and he got us another stimulus check. But a lot of people are blaming him because there's a bunch of people that don't want to go back to work. So there's a bunch of people that are like, hey, I'm making more money on unemployment. I'm not going back to work. Do you think that these extended unemployment benefits is what's keeping people from not going back? Or do you think that it's something else?
It's absolutely what's keeping people from going back, because I know some people that's not going back specifically because of it. I mean, I get it. Like, it was definitely to help keep the economy going. It was to help people continue their lives and try to get stable during this pandemic. But at this point now, y'all got to start rolling everything back to reality. Start decreasing it some, so these people start to get the picture. Hey, I'm about to get this free money, and I'm not doing nothing. It's time to get my ass back to work. I done worked from 6 to 2. Now I'm getting 200. That ain't nothing. I might need to go get a job.
Yeah.
You really think people staying home for the extra? Because what is it, $600?
Some people made like $1,000 a week.
My nephew is staying home specifically because of the benefits. He's like, what I need to work for? I can stay at home and stay safe.
Oh, man. What do you think, Dustin? Because I know you're more on the conservative side. So, what are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, I think people should go back to work. I think they should. I mean, they should open more stuff up too, and keep men closed right now.
But do you think that the unemployment benefits, the extra money, the stimulus, because there's another stimulus check coming, is it too much? Or is it good? I don't mind. I mean, hey, give me more.
I don't know. Cause I feel like everything going up too. Like, I was just looking, gas is it's high right now.
That's different. Gas isn't that because of a hack or something? Not necessarily because of this.
Or so they say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm ready to see the world get back to normal. Like we have to start normalizing things, and we have to start getting the economy back to where it was, and we got to get back to a sense of our natural reality. We got to cut this lazy stuff. We can't keep hiding in the house. Go get yourself vaccinated. If not, keep your mask on and stay 6 feet away from people. It's simple. This virus is real, and we got to start taking it serious. We already into our 1-year anniversary of this. We well into it. And we still got to go into stores wearing masks and stay 6 feet apart and follow all these restrictions. If we do what we're supposed to do the first time, it won't be no continuation a year from now. It's simple.
Yeah. But that's the problem. You saw the people they was fighting and they pushing because they don't want to wear the mask and all. Like, people are going to resist it until they can't anymore. But when it comes to the unemployment benefits or the extra benefits, I don't know if that's enough. Because, like, I don't know if people can live off of that. Like, I think that some of the people, especially a lot of the Republicans, think that this money, people just want to get this extra $200 or $600 because if you're on unemployment, you're not getting your full pay. Like you're getting what 66%, and then I know they added the extra benefits.
Now I think some people were making more.
Yeah,
some people were making more than their normal checks.
But that was in the beginning. That's not now, right?
I know a few people that it went well into the last couple of months. I ain't dropping no names. I know some people that was getting paid.
I mean, if I made more, I wouldn't go to work needing. I mean,
well, then doesn't that mean we just need to pay people more money? The problem is that people don't make enough money. Like if people rather stay home to get this extra $600, it means we need to pay people more money. Like the amount of everything is going up. The cost of inflation is going up. Maybe we need to pay people more than they getting paid.
I think we're headed down that path, honestly, because the prices for, merchandising stores, that's not going to go down no time soon. Gas is going to be higher than a giraffe's butthole for I don't know how long. So, we got to stabilize. We got to stabilize.
I agree. But let me ask you something. So let's say, especially since they're toying with the idea of raising the minimum wage, would you be upset, like at your job, you are already making, let's say like $39 an hour, and they raise the minimum wage to like $35 an hour? Would you be mad if you didn't get an increase, but they're helping people who need it? Like, let's say they're taking people who are in really bad neighborhoods and they're giving them these jobs. Would you be pissed if you don't get an increase as well?
Yes, because Keisha from down the street with the 19 kids is gonna bust up and go to Miami with that. If it was, I'm really not like that. If it was to help raise the bar and lower income, I mean, at some point it's gonna level out again anyway, right? Because the rich people are gonna do more to make more money, and this is gonna be a continuation, and it's gonna be a climb. So, I mean, let's get rid of poverty. Why not? There's other countries with universal health care, and we still fighting for simple stuff like making sure that human beings have a place to live at night and food to put in their stomach.
True. What if it's just a college student, like a newbie, somebody that don't have experience, and they change the rules? Would you be okay with that?
I ain't said I'd be okay with it, but I'm open to ways of of fixing things and making things better. Let's not go shooting from the hip now and just
just keep going,
making rash decisions like that.
No, because I've had that happen where they raised the minimum amount that people was making, but they didn't increase everybody else's pay. And I know some people was upset about that when they're toying with the idea of raising the minimum wage. I know you got an idea about this, Dustin.
I mean, they doing the same work, or they doing something?
It's the same work. It's the same job. I
mean, they doing the same work. I mean, I don't got no problem they getting paid the same. I mean, you talking about like somebody been there for like a long time?
Yeah, so you've been there for like 10 years.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
Okay, I'm surprised because you're pretty. I'm surprised
Unless
by
you got like the person at the. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on what type of work you do.
Well, I don't think it matters. I think that if everybody gets paid the same amount, it shouldn't really matter about the years. So if you coming in brand new versus if you've been doing this for a while and the job is the same, I think you should get paid the same. Whether or not they'll pass the minimum wage, I don't know, because I know a lot of people are pushing back about small business and they're like, I don't know if small businesses can afford it. And if you do that, they're going to cut hours. So in order to compensate, they're going to just cut your hours. So it's going to, like you said, Scoop, it's going to balance itself out. Well, I appreciate you two gentlemen. I need for Scoop to tell us how to get in touch with you, not aggressively, just passively, gently, to listen to your podcast and where we can find it.
Family, you can check me out every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on Instagram at UDP_the_podcast. I am Scoob Rose, the Dreadhead Teddy Bear. Thank you for having me on, family.
I appreciate you. And D Wings, how can they find you?
Actually, I don't even go online that much.
You can find him at the M.A.P.S Media.
Yeah, Matt Media.
Just follow him at M.A.P.S Media. He'll get it. So just follow him there, since he doesn't really use social media. He has one, but he keep it private. I'm not gonna judge him. I'm not gonna judge him. But I appreciate the two of you. You can come back anytime you want in order to talk for the men, because I usually have a lot of women. So it's interesting to hear this perspective from men and the male perspective of it. We're actually gonna have another man on next week. But before I go, since I said I wasn't gonna keep you guys too long, I do want to ask you guys a little bit about what do you think about Nick Cannon? Is he really like Future? Is he really the new Future, but with a turban on? Which I saw that meme and I thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Because of all the new
kids.
baby mamas. Leave that man alone. He's spreading his seed. Let him be fruitful.
But Keisha had the 19 kids and you ain't like Keisha.
Oh, now you're going to go there. I just said I wouldn't go for Keisha from down the street with 19 kids. I ain't trying to date Nick Cannon either, so he's safe.
I like that. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for coming to Millennials Anonymous. Like I said, you can come back anytime you absolutely want to.
Absolutely. We got to do this again.
Absolutely. To those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for us to be able to live the way that we live. So shout out to everybody. Appreciate everybody to listening. Shout out to everyone. Be back again next week. Bye.